nail and screw?
I don't know, it's
What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Ryan, your DIY guy. If you're new here, go ahead, like and subscribe. On today's episode, we're going to be installing a beautiful fireplace mantle from a live edge slab, so you don't want to miss out on any of that exciting content. Stay tuned. Coming up next on Nail and Screw. Let's head over to our supplier, Midnight Carpentry, who produced this masterpiece.
My name is Keith and I'm from Midnight Carpentry, and I produce bespoke fine furniture as well as high-end custom cabinetry. We made a live edge mantle out of matumi for nail and screw, between 70 and 80 mil thick matumi live edge that got cut from a 3.3 meter slab, and it was 2 meters long by approximately 280 and 390 or 400 millimeters wide, obviously because the live edge wanders left and right. And then it was finished in Rubio monocoat and left to dry, and after it was dry then we added a lacquer finish to the top of it in dead matte. And yeah, they're going to be mounting it in the client's home hopefully in the next upcoming week.
And do you enjoy working with nail and screw?
I don't know, no. Working with nail and screw is lovely. It's nice getting orders from the other side of the construction industry. It results in something that's quite nice for the client at the end of the day, obviously.
It's always great having a bit of banter with Keith from Midnight Carpentry, but we're back on site and this is the area we're going to be working in. You can see the existing fireplace area and it looks a bit worse for wear. It's pretty dated with this slate front face, and you can see it's got a very narrow mantle that was there existing. Nothing else was on top, but it's in poor shape. It's crumbling in certain areas, and so what we've got planned for it is to plaster the front of this area just to give it a more modern, updated look, and the client will add a bit of tiles at a later date. And then of course we're going to add our mantelpiece on top just to finish off this area pretty beautifully. So I'm excited. Let's dig into it. And first off, we mix up our plaster mortar, and you can see it's a pretty dark consistency compared to regular plaster mix, and that is because this is a fire retardant cement, which is fantastic for fireplaces, bomas, fire pits, you name it, because it withstands the heat quite well and doesn't crack over time or westen sooner than regular plaster. However, you do have less working time with it because it cures up super solidly, but it leaves a fantastic finish result, which is pretty cool. And of course, you've got the benefit of being fire retardant, so you don't have that risk of your plasterwork catching on fire, which is a bit of peace of mind in the end. And you can see the plaster mortar adheres pretty well because of all those gaps in our slated face, and we can just simply apply it on, which is basically like slapping it onto the wall. It adheres, and once it starts setting up, we can go ahead with a cutting process just to smooth it down slightly to our near finished result. And then we can smooth off the plaster with a wooden float, which is called floating in actual fact, and that just gives it a smooth texture, ready for your tiles or whatever else you want to do. Maybe you want to paint it, etc. Once that's completed, we can install our braces, and this is because our top shelf is very narrow compared to our wooden slab. A wooden slab ranges between 250 to 450 millimeters in width, and so we need those L brackets just to secure, almost to create a cantilever over the fireplace, but we're going to secure it much more firmly with the roll bolts, which you'll see coming up shortly. What is up, guys? It's day 2 on the fireplace mantle build, and you can see we've just plastered out the area, which is looking quite beautiful. I'll show you a bit more of that in detail in a second. Then we're going to move on to the actual wood mantle, and you can see here we're getting ready to create the holes. So we've just demarcated where the holes will go. We've got one that's going to go over there. We've got another that's going to go over there. We're going to be using the masking tape just not to scuff up the wood because it's already finished. And then we've obviously got our Forstner bit. So our Forstner bit will give a clean hole that we can then sink this bolt, which is a roll bolt, and this top half is going to go into the concrete, and then we'll screw the rest of it in to secure it in place, and the top of the head will be hidden. And this just provides added security to make sure that it doesn't break. We're going to be placing 4 of those. Each of them are rated for a good couple of 100 kilos of strength, so I think we should be good to go. And then on top of that, we'll have our brackets that are now secured into place. Concrete has dried overnight, so I'm super happy, and we're going to kick off installing this bad boy. A huge shout out to all our Nail and Screw subscribers. Thanks to you guys, we're now eligible for Super Thanks, which means you can continue showing your love and support by donating to the channel, allowing us to produce more awesome content into the future. And you'll also be able to post a colorful comment in the comment section, and all our Super Thanks subscribers will get a special shout out at the end of every video. Thanks again, and let's jump back into this one. So you can see that's a nice, clean, crisp hole, which will sink the head of this bolt down in there, and it'll be nice and flush on the top. Now that we've got all our holes drilled out using our Forstner bit, we can go ahead and drill pilot holes to give clearance for our bolt to go through. So I've used a similar size drill bit that will give clearance for the bolt, and I've also marked it off using some tape, as you can see over there, just to indicate where it should stop. Now underneath our wooden piece, we've actually placed some scrap wood just to prevent any blowout from damaging our piece, because it is pretty pricey. So keep that in mind when you're drilling your pilot holes for your bolts. Now when drilling, make sure you're utilizing the correct type of drill bit. We're obviously using a sharp brad point wooden drill bit compared to a masonry or steel drill bit, which may not give you the right result. And of course, use a steady hand. A drill press probably won't work in this application because of the size of the slab. And we are also lifting the drill in and out of the hole just to free up any of that wooden sawdust or drill dust in this case, so that we can drill right through quite smoothly. And of course, ensure that that hole is straight down because it will affect your bolt. Once all your holes are drilled through the slab, place the slab on top of where the mantle will reside, just to mark out the holes that will go into the brick in order to drill through. And again, make sure that you're drilling pretty perpendicular straight down into the brick so that your bolts can also reside securely perpendicular. If not, you'll have a tough time fitting them in. And then we dry fit our bolts, and there's a nut at the bottom of the roll bolt which secures it in place. It's important to assemble the entire thing completely, because as you start tightening it up, that nut pushes back into the body and widens it out, and that's what gives it its strength. So very important to locate it beforehand, otherwise you'll have quite a tough time doing it whilst you're fitting the slab. And then we clean up the area because we're going to be fitting some fire retardant sealant, which is a high-tech sealant, underneath the slab, and that will also just provide some added security that it will be fit in place. And you can see we're applying it now, and then we go ahead and screw up all of our bolts in the holes just to ensure that it is secure and going nowhere. Now typically your mantle will be secured with 2 undermount supports, but the homeowner wanted it pretty seamless, and this is why we opted for this route as opposed to the traditional fireplace mantle. And then next up is your silicone application. You can see we've got some tape just to keep it off the walls and keep it neat and clean. And we're using this applicator which smooths out all of the silicone. And then we can simply remove our tape soon after that. Here's a quick pro tip regarding tape lines. Make sure that you're using a good quality tape first and foremost, and of course rub all of the seams or edges just to ensure there's good adhesion. Then when you are removing your tape, make sure you pull it off at a 45-degree angle just to ensure you get crisp, clean lines. And of course, pull it off when your silicone is still fairly wet, just after being smoothed out. That will avoid any jagged edges which won't look very good. And finally, we can secure the mantle from the underside and wrap this project up. This was a super fun project, and it was a fantastic collaboration all the way from our supplier straight into our client's home, who was thoroughly pleased with the end result. We absolutely loved it, and I hope you did too. If you did, go ahead and smash that thumbs up button. It helps YouTube recommend it to more people who enjoy this type of stuff. Of course, make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell so you get notified when we post more of these types of videos. You can also catch us over on Instagram, where you'll get VIP access to this type of content before YouTube. But enough said, until next time, we'll see you on Nail and Screw.